Hello, Buckeye Nation. Was that the most stressful game ever, or was that the most stressful game ever? Sure, the floodgates opened up midway through the fourth quarter, and the final score makes it look deceptively easier than it was, but I was pulling my hair out during most of that game. This tweet from Chuck D says it all in my opinion. In one game, OSU showed that they can be beaten, and OSU showed us that they're the best team in the country. Let's unpack that wild roller coaster that was this past Saturday together and take a glimpse at the Northwestern game that we have coming up after the intro. Welcome to Buckeye Football Fangirl. If this is your first time here, my name's Lisa, and I'm the gal behind this channel. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope that you all are soaking up this one-of-a-kind Buckeye football season, even during these stressful games. I'm not wasting any time this week because honestly, my head is still spinning from that game. What a wild, wild ride. I honestly didn't know how to process that game after seeing Ohio State look both so vulnerable and so dominant in the same game. Buckeye Twitter was in absolute chaos during that game as we were all reacting in the moment to what we were seeing. And honestly, a lot of what we saw in the first 3 quarters was not great. I agree with Casper though with this tweet. I still love all you Buckeye fans. We are a passionate group. Passionate is honestly an understatement, but I cannot overstate how much I enjoy watching these games with you all. Yes, even when these Buckeyes are driving us nuts and frustrating us with those dang bubble screens. Penn State came ready to compete, and I have to say, hats off to them because they hung with the Buckeyes all the way. Those runaway points at the end of the game were mind-boggling because, as Buckeye Empire tweeted, it was a 6-point game with like 6 minutes to go. That was right about the time when it finally started clicking for the offense, and then it absolutely turned on the fire hydrant, and in a flash, the Buckeyes ran away with the game. It was such a good feeling when Henderson was finally able to just break free and run one to the house. And Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egabuka, and Cade Stover hauling in those catches in the moment that we needed them the most was amazing. But even as good as those catches were, JT Tuimoloau stole the show. He was phenomenal. You all, 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 1 pass breakup, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovered. This is just a mind-blowing performance. As the Cleveland Buckeye tweeted, JT Tuimoloau has played great all season. The stats just didn't come. Today, all the stats came. One of the best defensive performances in OSU history. What an amazing game. It seems extremely fitting that the Buckeyes ended the game with 44 points, as Lindsay pointed out on Twitter. Wouldn't it be ironic if we end this game today with 44 points? Number 44 has had the game of a lifetime. I'm pretty convinced that JT won the game for the Buckeyes, and without his disruptive play of a lifetime, I'm not sure they win. And you better believe he's gonna go down in Buckeye history for that game. Now, if you watch this show, you'll know that I love to take games like the one that we just watched and reframe them by adding a little perspective. This week, I've got not 1, not 2, but 3 perspective tweets that I think are really important to consider. Perspective tweet number 1 from Sam Smooth. Buckeyes are winning a top 15 football game today in the best road environment in football. Columbus Twitter is burning the program to the ground. Are there issues? Yeah. This is a great game though. And Sam's right, that was a great game. And the Buckeyes found a way to get the win, which should be encouraging to us all. They got issues, that's for sure. But now they can see them clearly and fix them before it costs them more in the long run. Perspective tweet number 2 from Emily was in response to this tweet. Ohio State has never scored 40+ points in Beaver Stadium until today. This is actually a stat that made me pause and go, wait, what? This performance that we all sweat, screamed, cried, and then laughed through ended up being the highest scoring game out of all the Buckeyes have played there? That's impressive. Perspective tweet number 3 from Jeff Grubb. OSU fans, we needed a game like this. We now need to work on the little things, but we need to give Penn State credit. They are a tough team, especially at home. Well done, Penn State. That's dang right. Penn State was a tough team, and State College was rocking and disruptively loud. They played us like we are their rival. They gave us everything they had, and the Buckeyes still won. Imagine how demoralizing this win has to have been for them to hang all the way till the end, and then the Buckeyes just explode on them. Now, let's move on to Northwestern. Let's all turn the page from this past win and look towards what should be a much easier game against Northwestern this weekend. In a pretty lopsided overall series, Ohio State has played Northwestern a total of 79 times and has won 64, tied once, and lost 14 times. And unfortunately, Northwestern's season has turned out to be one big flop this year so far. They haven't been playing well at all. They've only won one game so far this season, their first game against Nebraska. Let me repeat that. They've only won one game out of 8. And somehow last weekend they got beat by Iowa 33-13. What I want to know is how the heck did Iowa score 33 points on them? And if Iowa can score that many, how many will Ohio State? It's a shame that their season is already in the toilet bowl because Northwestern is led by perhaps one of the most likable head coaches in all of college football, Patrick Fitzgerald. Coach Fitz is a born and bred Chicagoan and a self-proclaimed Big Ten homer. He was selected to be head coach in 2006 after the unexpected death of previous head coach Randy Walker. Coach Fitz spent his time on the defensive side of the ball and played linebacker for Northwestern during his collegiate career. And he honestly had an impressive college career, doing all of the following not once, but 2 times. He won the Bronski-Nagurski Trophy and Chuck Bednarik Award, was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and was a consensus All-American. He was actually even inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. Within the coaching circuit, he spent some time coaching for the University of Maryland, the University of Colorado, the University of Idaho, before landing at Northwestern. In the past, he's always shown a lot of respect for the Buckeyes. And I'll never forget the fact that he even said that he threw objects at his TV during that Fiesta Bowl when Ohio State barely lost to Clemson, and said that he thought Ohio State should have won the game. I'm telling you, he's just hard not to like. There's been a little drama at quarterback this year as junior quarterback Ryan Helinski, who led the team last year, started the year off as the starting quarterback until he was replaced by sophomore quarterback Brendan Sullivan during the Wisconsin game back in the second week of October. Helinski was struggling to complete passes during that Wisconsin game, and with his completion percentage dropping to 40% during that game, Sullivan then stepped in. And while he hasn't been able to lead the team to a win yet, he has an average completion percentage of 73% so far. Further comparing the two, Helinski is a true pocket passer, while Sullivan is a dual threat and he has the ability to scramble when he needs to. Sullivan also has a bigger arm, and with that has the ability to stretch the field, which then poses more of a threat to defenses than Helinski did. One weakness, though, is that Sullivan definitely doesn't have as much experience in the game as Helinski, so he is prone to making more mistakes and causing turnovers from intercepted passes. Both things that I think Ohio State can capitalize on this coming Saturday. Running back Evan Hull is the leading rusher for the team and has been a bright spot on the team thus far with 579 yards. And perhaps even more impressive is his ability to also catch the ball. He has 461 receiving yards too. He's only 10 yards behind the leading wide receiver this year, Malik Washington. The next highest rusher and receiver both have just a smidge over 200 total yards for this season, which only serves to highlight the offensive struggles that they've had this year in games. On defense, linebacker Bryce Gallagher leads the team in tackles with 79 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Gallagher is also second in the Big Ten in total tackles, which is an impressive feat. Defensive lineman Tuimoloau has also been disruptive this season with 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Adebawore is shifty and uses his speed and power to disrupt offenses. His draft stock has been rising this year, and Coach Fitz has commented that he has freakazoid strength numbers. I'm gonna to jump back to the offense for just a minute to talk about one more player, Peter Skoronski, who is an offensive tackle who has been generating some pre-draft buzz himself. Some have predicted that he might be a good fit to go to the Bears to protect our own former QB1, who needs some more protection there. He's another player who Coach Fitz has also said has freakazoid strength numbers, and he often goes against Adebawore in practice, where iron apparently sharpens iron. He's definitely been a force to be reckoned with on offense, and he has a high football IQ, thanks in part to his grandfather Bob Skoronski, who was a blocker on Green Bay's 5 championship teams in the 1960s. Okay, back to the D again for one more player to keep an eye on. Linebacker Xander Mueller, who has also made an impact on their D with 65 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovered. All said, I see no way Northwestern is going to be able to keep up with Ohio State offensively or defensively this Saturday. If you agree, go ahead, give this video a like, and then drop me a comment below. And if you disagree, let me know as well in the comments below. So let's all take a deep breath in, exhale it out slowly, and make a vow to enjoy this game this weekend. We should be able to sit back and watch a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. There shouldn't be any hair pulling, nail biting, or blood pressure spikes, thankfully. We'll probably even be able to see a lot of backup action in the second half. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you on the other side of this game. Oh,